There are unforgettable moments in The Godfather. Sonny's death at the toll booth, the restaurant assassination, Don Vito's final moments in the garden. Yet none of those scenes may be as heartbreaking as one that contains no gunfire, no violence, and almost no dialogue. It lasts only a few seconds. Michael Corleone stands in his office after assuring Kay that Carlo's death had nothing to do with him. She wants to believe her husband. She wants to believe the man who once promised he would never become like his father. For a brief moment, it almost feels possible that their marriage can still be saved. Then everything changes. As Kay watches from the doorway, Michael's capos enter the room one by one. They kiss his hand and address him with the respect reserved for the new Godfather. Without saying a word, Michael accepts his new position. The camera remains with Kay as she slowly realizes the terrible truth. The man she married is gone. Then comes the most devastating image in the entire film. A member of the Corleone family quietly closes the office door in Kay's face. Most viewers see this as the end of a conversation, but Francis Ford Coppola intended it to mean far more than that. The door is a symbol. It separates two different worlds forever. On one side stands Kay, representing honesty, family, and the normal life Michael once dreamed of living. On the other side is Michael's new reality, a world built on secrecy, power, fear, and absolute control. Notice how Michael never turns to look at Kay as the door closes. Earlier in the film, he constantly looked toward her with warmth and affection. In this final moment, his attention belongs entirely to the family business. The transformation is complete. This is the exact moment when Michael becomes Don Corleone. Not because someone gives him the title, but because he willingly sacrifices the last piece of his old identity. Ironically, Michael achieves everything he believed he wanted. He protects the family, eliminates his enemies, and secures his power. But in doing so, he loses the one thing that made him different from every other Corleone. And that silent loss becomes the emotional foundation for everything that follows in the rest of the trilogy.
Years after The Godfather was released, audiences continued to debate its final image. Many believed the closing door was meant to reject Kay, but the deeper tragedy is that the door was never really closing on her. It was closing on Michael Corleone. Kay could walk away. She could rebuild her life. She could eventually escape the darkness surrounding the Corleone family. Michael, however, had no escape. The moment that office door shut, he became a prisoner of the very empire he had fought so hard to avoid. At the beginning of the film, Michael proudly tells Kay, "That's my family. Kay, it's not me." Those 7 words define the young man he once was. He wanted an honest life, far from organized crime. He served in the Marines, ignored his father's business, and dreamed of a future built on love rather than fear. But life had different plans. The attempt on Don Vito's life, the murder of Sonny, and the betrayal from within the family slowly pushed Michael toward a destiny he never wanted. Every decision he made seemed logical. Every violent act could be justified as necessary. Yet each sacrifice took away another piece of his humanity. That is why the final scene is so devastating. Michael wins every battle, but loses the war inside himself. The tragedy becomes even clearer in The Godfather Part 2. His growing paranoia destroys his marriage to Kay. His distrust leads him to turn against his own brother, Fredo, resulting in one of the most heartbreaking betrayals in cinema history. By The Godfather Part 3, Michael is an old man, surrounded by wealth, influence, and respect, but completely alone. The empire he spent decades protecting could never give him the peace he sacrificed everything to obtain. Francis Ford Coppola didn't end the first film with a gunshot or an explosion because he understood that some wounds never bleed. The quiet closing of a wooden door says more than any speech ever could. It marks the death of Michael Corleone's innocence. It marks the beginning of a lifetime of loneliness. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of The Godfather. Power can defeat your enemies, but it can never save you from becoming the very thing you feared the most.